What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Ho to Husband Podcast. I'm your host, Terry Duran. I got my co-host on the line with me tonight. I got my man, Jay Babo. What's going on, bro?
Not much. As you see, SD's not with us this week. Definitely been missed. Definitely look forward to having him back next week. But want to quickly remind you can catch us on Grind City TV. That's Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can get it on Roku TV and also on Google Play. Also, be sure to follow us on TikTok as well as subscribe to us on YouTube at Ho to Husband Podcast. And real quick, just want to give a shout out to one of our contributors, Miss Deidre. Yeah, appreciate that and appreciate all the contributors to us. You know, it's this stuff doesn't go unnoticed.
I want to let y'all know that y'all can catch the audio playback of the show every Monday afternoon at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. I also want to give a shout out to my man, Brother Soul Productions, for keeping us laced with our background audio. And I want to remind y'all to continue to support the podcast through our Cash App and our PayPal. Tonight's episode is titled Smoke and Mirrors. And we're going to be talking about how the perception of dating and relationships in the media and social media actually impacts real dating. So kind of a contrast to what we see and what it's actually like. But before we get into all that, y'all know around here on the Ho to Husband Podcast, we like to talk about stuff that we're seeing on our timeline, viral videos, etc. So we got a couple of videos that I'm really looking forward to talking about. This first video is a real short, but it's a very, very critical point, talking about chasing and pursuing. Let's take a listen.
Women are conditioned that they're the prize in society, right? They're the prize, and I have no problem pursuing you, but I will not chase you. There's a big difference. A lot of women nowadays just want to be chased.
We talk about that all the time, right?
No doubt.
This idea that women just want guys to chase after them and in the constant pursuit. We hear it all the time. Men are hunters. They'll hunt effortlessly and all that type of rhetoric, right?
Yeah.
That's not true. Like, men are not naturally hunters. We're not born knowing how to hunt. We can't just go find an animal and kill it with our teeth and eat it unprepared. Like, we can't do none of the stuff that they actually use to make this analogy, right? And we know through experience that men respond when they are getting feedback, when a woman is showing active interest or choosing signals, as SD would call it. That's the only way that it's going to progress. You know what I'm saying? Unless a dude is just not smart enough to realize a woman's finessing him. You know what I mean?
Right. You know, I think what stood out to me here is there's a difference between pursuing and chasing. When you're pursuing somebody, 9 times out of 10, the interest is mutual. When you're chasing somebody, you're going after somebody where the interest is not mutual. You know, interest is maybe at 10% at best to your 90. So yeah, you're chasing. And what happens with a lot of women is they like being chased. You know, even though they have no interest. You know, how many times do women go out with a dude and she has no interest on doing anything with him, or getting flued out somewhere and she has no interest to do anything with him?
Yeah, they have financial interest. They don't have the romantic interest.
And I think it's definitely on the guy to see that if the interest is there or not. It's on the man to pick that up. You know.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of fellas make mistakes where they'll over pursue. They think they're going to make her, she's not showing interest, and they think, okay, I'm going to pursue her. She's just going to become interested. Either she's interested or she's not.
Right. And when it comes to that, like you said in the video, a man pursuing you or directly showing interest is probably a better phrase. Most guys are doing that to figure out if the interest is mutual or not. Right.
Yep.
And we have to be able to accept rejection. You go into it knowing that you're going to get rejected to some degree. But the point is, you want to figure it out sooner rather than later. You don't want a woman to just use you for several dates, have you saved in her phone as free food or something crazy like that, where you just being taken advantage of because she knows that you have an interest in her. I don't really have a lot of sympathy for the guys that do that, that do chase women, because it's voluntary. You know what I mean? Like, there are women that feel like I said earlier, finesse. They feel like they trick these guys into doing it, but there are some guys that just know that their only avenue to getting time, attention, and pussy is through money. And so they just make themselves an easy target. The guys that typically have the swag, the personality to be able to get women on their own, that's not usually the approach that they take.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, and the thing, like you said, personality, swag, the thing with that, those are things you can always work on and improve on, right? As opposed, I mean, even
I
money
don't
to
know
some
if
degree
that's true or not. I don't know if that's necessarily true. Like,
why you say that?
Because there are a lot of lame dudes that they gonna be lame no matter what, no matter how much money they get, no matter what club they go, no matter what they drive, no matter what they wear.
But yeah, no, you're definitely right. But I mean, like, as far as like, you know, swag and how you approach one, like, that's something you can always work on.
Well, that's a skill. Yeah, it's something that you can improve. I don't necessarily know if that's your swag or not, but knowing what to say, knowing how to peep a woman's body language and all that stuff, that's stuff that you can learn. But to me, the key thing in the phrase is like the difference between pursuing and chasing. In order to chase something has to actively be trying to get away. You know what I'm saying? Like when a criminal's being chased by the police, he's not really wanting to be caught. And so women want to be caught. That's why this analogy doesn't make a lot of sense. And this strategy, if you want to call it that, is illogical and counterproductive in a lot of ways. Because if a woman tries the "you gotta chase me" type of, you know, approach with a guy that actually has success with women, she's just gonna get less of his time and energy and effort. So she's ultimately doing herself a disservice with that approach, in my opinion.
Yeah. But you know, like I said, women like the attention. Women like the fact. There's a lot of women out there that like the fact that a guy is chasing her, a guy she done ghosted and has no interest in, and he's all up in her text messages or DMs, and he's getting posted on the close friends.
Yeah, man, I never would want to be that guy, bro.
Me neither.
Like guys, the stuff that guys say to women to get them to respond or to get their attention. Like, man, you are in the group chat. You are getting laughed at. You are being talked about, you know what I'm saying, among her friends. That's why it's not in your best interest to take that approach. You know, like,
at all.
It's perfectly okay to avoid women that just use guys for money or come to you talking about money as soon as you start talking to her. Like, there are a lot of different ways to tell if a woman is genuinely interested in who you are as a man.
That's why the worst thing a man can do is lead with his money, as opposed to leading with, you know, his personality, swag, and the things you just named.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you have to lead with something besides genuine conversation, it sets you up to be taken advantage of. If you lead with your job or your career or, you know what I'm saying, like, or your status, then that's what the person is going to be seeking and looking to you for. It's just like a woman that portrays sex. Like, yeah, we could talk about other stuff, but primarily I want to see you naked. I want to be progressing towards sex. If that's all I saw on your timeline and your pictures, and you know what I'm saying, like you constantly talking about how wet you are and how horny you are and all that type of stuff. That's exactly the type of energy that you're gonna get.
Exactly.
But to me, ladies, just FYI. The best way to improve your success rate with dating is to show interest in the men that you actually like. Like this elementary reverse psychology. I'm going to curve them. I'm going to ignore them. That does not work with men that are already pressed for time to start with. You know what I mean? Like, they not going to good morning you until you decide to reply. And you know what I'm saying? Like, they, trust me, the competition for their time and attention is so fierce that's not going to be their move.
Before we move off this, I just want to say something you just said that just stood out, right? Fellas, if you're texting women and there's too much, you know, especially on iMessage and there's too much blue in there, it's never a good sign, fellas.
Yeah, man. Every girl got this though, where they show that dude is talking to them. My wife get it all the time. Dudes that DM and just talking to themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, beautiful, hey, this, and how you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like they be stalking their stories and stalking their timelines, trying to put two and two together. You know what I mean? Like trying to find a way to spark a conversation. But to me, that's a waste of energy. Like, man, you don't want to be screenshot material, bro. That's never player. You
at all.
If a woman don't respond to you after your first interaction or two, keep it moving, bro.
Somebody that talks about this all the time, the Zayway. I know he has a book on texting. His platform where he talks about how he interacts with women that he's texting, and that's the stuff.
Yeah, man, you gotta have that stance that you're willing to cut it off.
Yeah,
like it's no different than when we talk about women that are desperate for relationships and all that. A dude being desperate to get you to go on a date with him, well, he's just basically doing a silent auction with himself. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's going to keep upping the price and he's going to keep volunteering to do more. That's ultimately not going to get him what he wants.
The thing is, it's not a good look when you do that, because then the woman's going to look at you like, damn, he must not have no other options. He must not get no women like that. And women like men that are designed by other women.
That's facts. Let's keep things rolling, man. Now, this next video that we had was a video where a man is explaining how what men are attracted to and how they approach women. Let's take a listen.
Men are attracted to sight. 74% of men said that they notice hair first. 74% of men said that they are attracted to the fragrance of vanilla. So men are attracted to sight. Men are attracted to hair. Men are attracted to heels. Men are attracted to how you smell. What's your fragrance? Vanilla, not the stinking. Hair, y'all, not bunnets. So when you have a bonnet on, that's not stimulating to a man. I don't care about what no, we understand you had to get your, you got to wrap your hair up. You can't get it wet. I'm telling you what a man expects. He's attracted to sight. Take care of your body. When you take your clothes off, we are attracted to sight. Look good. Take care of yourself. Oil yourself up. Ash your elbows. If you got a problem with what I'm saying, take it up with God. We are attracted to sight. We didn't make ourselves like this. Most men, when they were born, they looked at their mama and daddy and smiled, but looked at the nurse and winked.
that was a great clip from the Bandwidth podcast. Everything he's saying is stuff that we've talked about multiple times. Men are attracted to sight. That's the first thing we see. Before we learn anything about you, before we engage with you, we see you. And that could be deception. You know what I'm saying? The woman can be misrepresenting who she really is or what she really looks like. But that, again, guys, you got to do your due diligence and figure that out. But I think this is part of the problem with the BBL culture and the plastic surgery. Yep. Like, a lot of women want to take the shortcut to get the attention of men, and they do things that only really spark sexual interest from men and not that highlight them to be wives or mothers to the men that they want to marry.
Yeah. Now, with the BBL thing, it's basically what you look for is a path of least resistance. Because it's easy to just pay X amount of dollars to go get the surgery, as opposed to, let's just say, going to the gym, eating better, because that takes a level of commitment, takes a level of discipline to do that.
True.
But I will say this: he was on the money with what men knows. Looks, what you look like first. Smell is definitely one. And ladies, here's a few perfumes I would even recommend to if you're going to that singles mixer event, date night, whatever the case may be. YSL Black Opium, YSL Libre. Now, if you want to spend a few dollars, hey, Parfums Zamali, Delina, or Delina exclusive. Retailed at $375. So, hey, if you have that kind of money, by all means, you might be able to find that discounts. And also, if you don't want to spend a whole bunch of money, you get Ariana Grande Cloud. It smells just like Baccarat Rouge 540, and that's it retails at $435. So, hey, thank you, ladies. But don't trick off your rent money or your car no money there. I don't need DMs saying, hey, Jay, you tell me to get this, and now I can't pay my rent.
Yeah, I mean, well, those things are all things, like the things that he was mentioning, putting on lotion or oils, things that make you smell nice. Like those are it's common sense that men like those things. Women, a lot of women just, once they get with a man, they stop doing those things, and you'll start to see those type of complaints, where they say that she's too comfortable, or she just doesn't do the things, she lets herself go. And there's always the natural problem or the natural battle with having kids, and then the obesity or losing the weight afterward. Like that's a thing, and there are some guys that don't mind a woman gaining a lot of weight, but there are a lot of guys that will lose attraction to their woman, and it's going to show in the way that he behaves and treats her. Even though he may love her, he may not leave. He may still work with her, but his level of desire towards her is going to be drastically different than when she was fine or when he was attracted to her.
Right now, and women are kind of hypersensitive to that when you point something like that out, because they're like, well, he should just take me as I am. And the thing is, well, that's not the woman that he fell in love with when he initially met you. Just like this, if you meet a guy and he's making X amount of dollars and somehow, he loses his job, or he's making less money than what he was when you met him, would you lose some attraction? Would you still want to be with that guy? I mean, just ask yourself that. So it's somewhat.
Well, I don't think that's a real equivalent thing. Okay. I understand that women's primary need out of long-term relationships is the financial stability and all, providing and all that. But initially, when it comes to physical attraction, I don't think that's necessarily the main thing. How that test that you get, at least among Black people, like when you at the club and you approach a woman to dance, and she look at her friend to kind of get the is he cute or not vibe, right. You know what I mean? like so if you can, it's an instant eyeball test. You know what I mean? Yep. Like head to toe, whether it's pass or fail, almost in a second or two, whether or not she's somebody that is they gonna instantly curve, or at least give you a chance to pursue or show interest. But to me, I think if you have pride in yourself and you have good hygiene, that's more than enough to keep somebody interested in you. You know what I mean? Like, your hair ain't gotta be weave. You ain't gotta be glammed up, because I don't think that's what most men expect to see out of a woman on a day-to-day basis. So fellas, you're much better off finding a woman that can be cute in just some regular jogging pants or a t-shirt or some around the house stuff. Right. Because if she's cute, or you find things about her attractive in that state, she's gonna look really good to you when she gets dressed and she actually puts on her makeup and her club attire and all that. Yeah. So,
but the flip side of that, you have there's a lot of women out there that do the weave, makeup stuff, and man, you will never see what they look like without that stuff. Like that are that insecure about themselves. Like I can't imagine that's like that. I
can't imagine dating somebody like that. That was that. Like tonight's episode, I guess we'll get into it a little bit later, but that are so big on the image and how they look and all that. Like, I couldn't maintain that 24/7. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that will put a major cloud on dating somebody that either has to try to portray themselves to be something that they're not on the norm, or somebody they gotta constantly let social media know everything they're doing.
Yeah, but you had a great point where if she looks good outside of when she gets dressed up, like she can just look cute throwing something on around the house, it makes her that much more attractive. Because at the end of the day, without the makeup, without the hair, that's the person that he's laying up with and going to bed with at the end of the day.
True. Definitely true. Like the whole idea of physical attraction, it's not just how your face or your shape is. Like I know one of the things that I really love about being with my wife, I get to watch her get dressed. You know what I mean? Like, so, I don't go out that often, but there are times where she'll be getting dressed and I'll just go sit in the bathroom, whatever, and just watching a woman in her panties with her trap music on, curling her hair and putting on all her creams and all her makeup and all that. Like, man, that's very relaxing and a turn on from a male perspective. So there are lots of different things that men enjoy about female companionship, especially when you're romantically involved with a woman. You get to see that side of a woman.
Right. No, and one thing I think you point this out all the time, especially when laying up with a man, wearing lingerie, wearing cute panties and stuff, because it makes the experience way more enjoyable. And man, you're absolutely right on that.
Yeah, my whole days, I was always into panties. Seeing chicks in cute panties was just like and I don't know if you could say fetish, but it would really put me in a mindset where a lot of times I would just go in beast mode. And like especially where a woman's sitting down and her thong is showing. Man, it's several chicks where that's the mind. It put my mind in overdrive. Yeah, what I'm saying? Like, so I'm real big on cute panties, what I'm saying? Sundresses, stuff like that, where it creates a visual experience when the sex is going down. Having the sundress hiked up or panties to the side, stuff like that, always made sexual experiences more exciting for me. But we know SD, he a toe guy, so they gotta have that manicure on point for him. Like, guys got different stuff, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So put forth the extra effort, y'all. It's definitely worth it, men and women.
It'll pay off in the long run there.
Absolutely. We're about to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be talking about tonight's episode, Smoke and Mirrors, about the perception of dating and relationships versus how they actually are. Y'all are tuned into the Ho to Husband podcast. We'll be back in a moment.
Hi, I'm relationship coach and author Terry Duran, and I am pleased to announce that my book, It's Not That Complicated, is finally available as an audiobook. So if you don't like to read, or you just don't have time to read a paperback book, this audiobook is perfect for you. You can listen to it while you're in your car, while you're at work, etc. In the book, I break down how husband material men think and operate in regards to sex, love, and relationships, and I provide real quality insight on how husband material men approach dating. The audiobook is available on audible.com and on iTunes. All you have to do is go to one of the websites and search for my name, Terry Duran. Go download your copy today.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Ho to Husband podcast. Tonight's episode is titled Smoke and Mirrors. And we're talking about how the perception of dating and relationships is based off of media and social media. Now, one of the things that I see that has created a major problem in relationships today is people comparing their relationships or their dating experiences to other people that they see online, and the abundance of relationship advisors, relationship coaches that give out faulty advice. I think those two things make social media kind of a toxic place for the most part in regards to relationships. What are your thoughts on that?
No doubt, especially when it comes to worshiping these celebrity couples. I give you a perfect example. Think of Will and Jada. Everybody made references that we've heard it in songs. I want that Will and Jada love. And look at the turmoil that they've had in the past, the better part of the past 2 years. It's
true.
And here's the thing: you never know what's going on in somebody else's house or what's going on in somebody else's bedroom or what may have you. So that's why it's not a good idea to just try to emulate a celebrity couple. Just want your own stuff and do what's best for you. And then with a lot of these influencers, podcasts, dating coaches or what may have you, there's a lot of them that's giving bad advice out there.
Sure.
Whereas now you have a lot of good ones. We've had a plethora of them on here from they have different lanes, but they all give good advice. And even even you to that matter, I know you do coaching calls. I know you give good, actionable, tangible advice. I know, same with SD when he does his live sessions with people.
Yeah, man. There are a lot of people that are putting up a good fight, trying to put out, real relationship advice, provide real perspective, that other people can actually take and use to implement in their dating, or to shift their perspective. Because a lot of, especially women, primarily we're doing this to help the women. A lot of them are their own worst enemies because of the way that they perceive men, the way that they perceive male behavior, and their misconceptions about how men are supposed to be. And part of the problem is most people don't have much experience with healthy relationships that are together for long periods of times. You know what I mean? Like, we talk about the numbers and the stats and the marriage rates and all that all the time. It's definitely not how it was, and especially in the Black community, just a couple of generations ago. And so finding people that actually know what it takes to make a relationship last, man, it's hard to come by these days.
You know what else is what else becomes problematic in this space, especially when it comes to these, podcasters, YouTubers, whoever has their platforms. I think you have one side of the spectrum, and then you have the other side to the extreme, right? I'll give you an example. Like, you have the manosphere and the red pill, where they talk one extreme. Now, I think some of their gripes are legitimate, but then it becomes kind of like this, I hate women. That's kind of what it comes off as when you hear it. And then you
like
have
the war.
And then you have the other side with the women, right? You have this kind of misandrist type of ideology. You have these feminist talking points, and they go far to the other side. And it's almost like, it's like no balance where, and that's what a platform like us, we try to bring balance to all these things. We talk about it from both sides here, as opposed to just going to one side and going to one extreme here.
Yeah, I mean, those people on the extremes, I don't think that they're in a mind space to actually establish and maintain a healthy relationship. And okay, so what do I mean by a healthy relationship? I'm talking about a relationship where is built off of mutual respect. There's effective communication. There's, you're actually compatible with one another on a variety of topics and life goals. Like, those are the type of things that I'm looking for, that there's real conflict resolution skills there, where you can get through major issues or a crisis situation without disrespect, without making it go viral, without going to social media with it. Like, you're able to manage these things in a mature manner that's actually conducive to a long-term marriage.
Exactly. And that's what we need more of that. And that's what I love so much about this platform, of providing that kind of balance. Whereas with them, and unfortunately, the ones that's going from one side or the other, way too many people follow and then subscribe to those kind of ideologies. And these are people that they're listening to, buying courses from, doing coaching calls, or whatever the case may be here.
Well, the problem is we live in a society where drama is glorified. Like,
no doubt.
Just like last week, right? It was like 4 or 5 celebrity couples where the women filed for divorce. Like, that's going to be the headline. Such and such filed for divorce. Tia Mowry and Cardi B, like all these different people are filing for divorce. That's always going to be the talking point, because women are constantly talking about breaking up with men and not dealing with men. Like you said, because of the feminist movement, or this we don't need a man movement. Those are all things that are working against women, because women that are actually with quality men in healthy relationships, their entire lifestyle benefits from it.
Right. But here, I just want to touch on your point real quick about how the bad stuff is highlighted all the time. Think about the news, for example. They're taken from the news, right? What sells when it comes to the news and comes to the newspapers. Bad news, they don't really report a whole bunch on the good news. It's not really a big focus or emphasis on it. They report all the bad news, whether it's a murder or robbery, right? And it's the same thing here, kind of more or less the same thing with social media. Drama or any kind of such and such getting divorced, or such and such got to a fight. That's what's getting, publicized, and that's stuff that's trending and going viral.
Yeah, it's a toxic place, man. Negativity on social media just in almost all aspects of social media in the comment section. Because even on my page, I could be putting up a post trying to illustrate something from a male perspective that could actually help women, that could actually improve relationships. But one comment, one troll, one person that's from the extreme can completely derail the topic of conversation. And so it's such a tough place to thrive, because from the relationship, from the advisor or the influencer perspective, I'm competing with pandering. You know what I mean? Like the guys that tell women what they want to hear, and it's always the men's fault, or all they do is talk about the toxic men. Those are the men with the biggest platforms. Those are the ones that are making the most money, and you're not getting the results from them. They're not teaching women how to have better dating experiences. They're just tapping into the experiences women already have.
What it is they just perpetuate the problem that already exists, or what's going to get them the buzz, or what's going to go viral, what's going to get picked up by the shade room or a spiritual world. And I think that's probably it. We live in a day and age where anybody's just doing anything just to go viral here, just to get 15 seconds or a minute and 30 seconds of fame, whatever the case may be here.
Well, I'm glad. Well, maybe I've never bought into that, because I talk about it all the time. My background is in mass communication, so I've studied social media in graduate school, and I've been working in the media for 20 plus years. So I don't feel the same way as I guess the average person does in regards to social media and all that. Plus, I've been married almost 20 years. So my dating experience predates social media. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's a major advantage, because if you grew up and all your adult life there's been social media, then you don't really know what it's like to have real privacy, to actually get to know somebody without any additional information to judge off of them.
Well, just think, if you're dating, let's just say the Gen Z or anybody born after the year 2000, right? They grew up right in the middle of the social media era. So that's all they know. They didn't know, the America, the AOL era, or getting on the internet with your phone there. You couldn't use, if you got on the internet, you couldn't even use the phone.
But even before then, where you didn't have a phone with you, you had to actually like some dudes went to the club with a pen in their pocket, some didn't. You know what I'm saying? Like just something just that basic, having an ink pen on you could be the difference between you linking up with a chick and not linking up. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you can try to tell me your number and hope you remember it, but that type of stuff in the environment where you partying and kicking it, man, that's very difficult to do.
Matter of fact, what was I take it, you've had that. What was that experience like? Because when I started going to clubs, cell phones were already out by then. I was already had a cell phone. What was that like?
You just miss more opportunities. You know what I'm saying? Like you could go through the motion of walking across the club, buying a drink and all that, and something go wrong, you not be able to find a napkin or something, be able to write our number down, and you took the L. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a missed opportunity. And so that's kind of what we see where today, where there are just so many opportunities, dating apps, DMs, all these different ways where you can spark that conversation, exchange, and then ultimately exchange some type of contact information. Because the goal has always been the same. You want to find somebody that you find attractive enough to have sex with. And then from a male perspective, you got to initiate some type of private conversation.
Yep.
So there's just a lot more ways to do it these days. Because like you said, you can see somebody that you recognize from social media, and now you can slide right to the DM. You can send her $50 for her birthday to go eat lunch or do something, get her nails. Like, you can do stuff that you just couldn't do back in the day. And if you the type of guy that has success in real life, it's always gonna hit different when you start using the technology to go along with it.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah. Another thing that really bothers me when it comes to the people, the hopeless romantics that compare everything to social media, they're actually comparing day-to-day life, dealing with problems, raising kids, you know what I'm saying, maintaining the household, to another person's highlight reel, where they're posting date night, they're only posting the dinner, they're only posting the vacation, they're only posting the stuff that makes it seem like everything in their life is lit. They don't post their problems. They don't post their car getting repoed. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't post the real stuff that actually takes place.
But with social media, everybody's always going to post the positive stuff. Like, if we go over social media, everybody's living their best life. Everybody's going on vacations, date nights with everybody's world's greatest parent over the internet. I mean, they post all that stuff, but they don't, like you said, they don't post the bad stuff. You know, for example, they post a date night, me and Bae did X, Y, and Z. You know, if it's somebody that don't put hands on, they ain't posting that.
True. You know, I mean, there's always going to be levels to how people manage their privacy. You know what I mean? Like, nobody wants to put out information or put out things that make them look bad, or at least most people don't. You know, you got people like Kanye and Candace Owens that troll and deliberately do things to spark conversation, but the average person doesn't typically want to do that. They don't want backlash. They don't want negativity. They don't want negative comments, because, you know, it can really get to you. You know, having a negative experience or having people talk negatively about you online can impact you in real life. And that's why people that have to put all their business on social media, man, I can't imagine the pressure that being in a celebrity relationship causes. You know, I think it almost makes it impossible damn near for it to succeed.
It does, because everybody's watching. No matter where you go to, there's somebody watching, somebody taking a picture. You know, it's almost like they're watching for something to happen, something damn near for
the drama.
Tale. Yeah, for the drama.
Looking for some type of drama.
So they have something to show. You know, some of these media, you know, social media tabloids have something to talk about, something to post.
Yeah, I mean, and then, you know, if you're an artist, they breaking down your lyrics, they breaking down your posts, they breaking down your comments, your emojis. Like, there are just so many different people in your business, and that was always one of the things that, you know, from my whole days, I was always good at. I was low key. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times people didn't even realize the chicks that I was smashing, like in the classroom or out the clique, because it wasn't publicized. Like, I wasn't always in their face in public. I didn't have to. You got the type of dudes that got to make it known that every chick that they smashing. But I was never, you know, I was a side dude for a lot of chicks. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it was just an understanding.
I never understood the point of trying to make it known to every chick, you don't smash, that you have to put up
status. Social status, man.
Yeah.
You get a lot of props from it. You know what I'm saying? Like, when people know you for smashing the most popular or the most attractive chicks, there's social clout that comes with it.
No doubt.
But it's different when you're doing it to try to hype yourself up, or when they just look at you like that. You know what I'm saying? Like SD talks about it, where they come to you for advice. What you say, bro? How'd you get hurt? You know what I'm saying? Like, where they want to know how'd you actually put yourself in that position. And a lot of it is just having your shit together. You know what I mean? Like, when you genuinely got something you can talk to the chick about, you can teach her stuff and put her up on game on different things. It makes it easy, you know, to get to that point with a woman.
Oh, no question.
So, you know, the reality is, being married and making a household work is a lot harder than it's portrayed to be. You know what I mean? Like, we talk about the roles that you have to play, the needs of a household, but you also have to deal with real life. You know what I'm saying? Like, unexpected stuff happens in real life. And if you can't handle it in a way where you can talk to them about it, you can discuss stuff even when you pissed off, even when you feel disrespected, you know what I'm saying? Things of that nature. Because we say it all the time, your feelings could be inaccurate. Your feelings ain't necessarily facts. So you could feel like somebody intentionally did something to piss you off or disrespect you and be wrong.
Yeah.
But
I mean, and that's where, I guess where communication come into play, where, if you felt one way, person could say, hey, this is not what I meant. I didn't mean to, I had no intention to disrespect you. So I think that's where, communication would come into play. That's in that certain situation there.
yeah, but see, in the society that we in today, where, like you were talking about earlier, there's that war. There's that everything a man does is trying to get over on me or trying to do me wrong or there's never the benefit of the doubt. And so you can never have a healthy relationship with that. Like, why would you want to build your life with somebody that you don't ever think had a good intention towards you? You don't ever jump to the assumption that they were not trying to do you wrong. Like, if that's how you perceive the opposite sex, then your mentality is ultimately the cancer that's preventing you from having a healthy relationship. And it's something that a lot of people don't even recognize because they got fuck nigga free. They're like they got anthems and things like that. Where that's how they just look at all men. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's sad because I think they more so go with the masses and do the things what's cool, and go with, like, let's just say, the popular buzzwords as opposed to actual facts or any kind of actual logic or just any kind of critical thinking for that matter.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to imagine what dating is like from the female perspective, because when we see these clips of women being interviewed and talking about stuff, it's like they don't even realize that they're explaining why the men don't marry them. Like they're showing you why they're not good mothers. They're showing you what their priorities are.
And the crazy part about that, like the way they do it, it's just so shameless. With the way they're getting on these interviews and just saying this stuff just out there with it. And unfortunately, even some let's just say they listen to us, and some might even just double down on it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we all get to make our own choices and decisions.
No doubt.
And that's going to directly impact the people that we date and their desire to be with us long term. And so the women that think and operate in ways that make them unpleasant to date or cause them to have problems with things that a normal, rational, reasonable man is going to do, those are women that are going to be single, and ultimately that's not the goal, because we see that as women get older, the women that are in their 40s and 50s and are alone, that's not a very pleasant outcome. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not the move. So I always wish that the younger women would smarten up while they in their 20s, while they in a position to actually secure a quality man.
But with that, unfortunately, the older women that they listen to, just like we kind of talked about earlier, they're taking bad advice from some of these older women. When they're going out there, doing hot girl summer, city girl. The older women are just big it up. Yeah, go ahead and do that. The hell with all these men. You don't need no man. And they're
the ultimate trick. Problem. Smoke and mirrors, right? It's the ultimate trick. They portray that this single thought lifestyle is the move. You know what I'm saying? Like, be like Lori Harvey. Leave them and curve them, girl. You like, man. Lori Harvey's not going to be very happy if eventually the guys that are dating her are not serious about her. Like, she's always like these attractive women are always going to be able to get men that want to, like I said, time, attention, and sex. But that's not what they want. You know what I'm saying? Like, so.
But the thing with that, just the thing with that too. You can only do that. Dotting it up, going out, having hot girls. You can only do that for so long. Eventually, even that attention you were getting in your 20s, that's eventually going to dry up.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has a window of opportunity, right? Yeah. Those women that can't get it right. You know what I'm saying? Can't. There was a stripper that went viral a couple weeks ago where she was complaining about being single, and she didn't want to admit it was because she's a stripper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
like men are actively making decisions on the dating market too, ladies. And so if you are with a guy that can choose between a chick that works in the sex industry and one that doesn't, most guys are going to lean towards the woman that doesn't. Now,
Right.
he may be more sexually attracted to the woman that works in the sexual industry, but that's not where most guys are going to go when it comes to the women that they want to settle down with or have children with. And I don't understand why these women can't seem to understand that.
Man, you know what? It reminds me of Chris Rock said that back in like 2004, where he's talking about the Lil Jon song "Get Low." And he's like, "Except for the men that got to choose a wife out of this bunch."
Well, that's not necessarily true.
Not true, but I see where he was going with that.
Wives can turn up. Wives can do things.
No doubt.
But there's a difference between a woman that lives a normal lifestyle and has a family and a career and all that occasionally goes out, and a woman whose life is centered around turning up and going out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
oh, no doubt. I mean, listen, is she going to Miami for Memorial Day weekend, going to Cancun or Vegas for Memorial Day weekend? I mean, you know what time it is. She going to Miami for Carnival weekend? I mean, come on, you know what time it is here.
Yeah, I mean, the more attractive a woman is, the more attention she's going to get overall.
Oh, no question.
But the problem is that they really struggle with differentiating between the sexual attention and the men that are genuinely interested in them. And unfortunately, a lot of them think and operate in ways that the men that they actually want to be with, that actually have the credentials, the personality, and all that type of stuff, those type of men are not going to view her as a long-term option. So they're working against themselves. They're eliminating themselves from the ultimate job that they want, but they're doing it for short-term benefits. Yeah.
Hey, when you don't want to just get short-term benefits, man, you got to think long-term and always look at the big picture there. Because, expecting long-term results from a short-term decision, it never works out.
Yeah, man. Hopefully, this episode will help some of these women see through the smoke and mirrors and see things for what they actually are. Look like we up against the clock, man. We about to get up out of here. Before we go, I want to remind y'all to continue donating to the podcast, to our Cash App and our PayPal. We appreciate any support we can get. And I want to give another shout out to my man, Brother Soul Productions, for keeping us laced with our background audio. SD, you will be missed, man. We can't wait to get you back on for the next episode. Jay, man, as a matter of fact, I appreciate y'all holding me down while I was out for work. Get to the bag. No doubt. So we definitely appreciate y'all boys getting that knocked out for me. This has been another episode of the Hold Husband Podcast, y'all, man. We appreciate all the support. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.